Hi, everyone. Kathy Rose here. I'm going to talk to you about the new moon in Sagittarius. It takes place on December 12th at 6:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This new moon, this new moon is part of a very powerful configuration of planetary development that takes place in December. And it's a punctuation point in December, and I want to explain that fully to you. First, let's look at the chart and let's look at the amazing photo that's on the right side of the screen. The photo is of the Roman god Neptune with his trident and his animal creatures all around him. And this is a photo taken at the Virginia Beach Boardwalk. We live very close to this. And so I get to enjoy it frequently. I love this statue. It's huge, it's powerful, it's dynamic. And I am sharing this as part of the new moon because we have Neptune in a very strong configuration with this lunation. So you look at the chart and you're going to see that Neptune is square the sun and the moon. And this changes the flavor of this lunation considerably. So let me explain. Sagittarius energy is very dynamic and outgoing. It's a fire sign. It is active. It is impetuous, impulsive. It is direct and to the point. And it's also very lighthearted. The positive side of the Sagittarius energy is humor and laughter. The shadow side of Sagittarius can be strong opinions. Sagittarius does want to have an opinion and want to express opinion, but the shadow side is when the opinionation, as my astrology teacher used to say, Noel Till, he would say opinionation with Sagittarius. When it goes too far, when it goes into tightness, and when it goes into I'm right and you're wrong. I have the correct opinion, you have the wrong opinion. That's the shadow side of Sagittarius, and that's not very comfortable. As a matter of fact, the shadow side of Sagittarius can easily flow into you're wrong, your opinion is bad, and you're judging people. And so I don't like you, and I think you're evil, which is judging, right? The very thing that you don't like in another person, you end up doing to another person. That's the extreme shadow side, but it is highly active right now in the energy field, in the collective. It is a lot of polarization that triggers that righteousness, that tightness, that I'm right, you're wrong. So that's the extreme shadow. Mars is close to the sun and the moon. It's 7 degrees away. So it's not a real tight conjunction, but it's energizing this, and we want to be mindful. So now let's go back to the Neptune energy. Neptune being square to the sun and the moon during this lunation says something extremely powerful. And that is, make sure you add compassion. Make sure you add the sense of unconditional love and acceptance and the ability to merge and blend with another person so that you at least try to understand their point of view. So the Neptune adds some softness on the ideal level. You see the statue, the image of the statue, and they depicted Neptune as very fierce. And we think of Neptune in astrology with some softness, some abstraction, sometimes even confusion, not necessarily fierce, but the fierce part, the strength of Neptune, especially Neptune in Pisces, is compassion. That pulse of unconditional love and acceptance, being able to see others as a soul who has a body instead of just a body that they don't like. And that's echoed and reinforced by the fact that Saturn is in Pisces, making this statement even louder. So this lunation, bottom line, I know I just did a long explanation, but during this new moon, remember to try to understand another person's point of view and not just push away or react. Doesn't mean you have to agree, but Pay attention to how strong opinions are just adding to the polarization, and find some sort of balance. Now, we also have Jupiter, who, by the way, Jupiter rules Sagittarius and also rules Pisces. Jupiter is in opposition to Venus, and Venus is in Scorpio, which is deep, passionate feelings. And so again, the message is clear. Add some emotion and some feeling and some compassion and some depth to your understanding of other people and their right to have a different opinion, and find some cooperative way where maybe you can find a merging point or a halfway point so that you can at least stay in lovingness. That's the message of this new moon. And what I want to do is show you a few more things that are going to continue and explain this even deeper. Earlier in December, just before the new moon, we had Neptune ending the retrograde. That was on December 6th. And as Neptune now goes into direct motion, and then Neptune is a key player in this lunation, we have Neptunian energy flowing through us. Now, the image on screen, you're probably looking at this going, what the heck? This is an image that I have used before when I teach people about Neptunian energy. In a sense, it looks like this person is dissolving. And I use this image because that's what Neptune tries to do, not dissolve us physically. But the energy of Neptune, when used in healing and higher consciousness, dissolves pain, dissolves traumas, dissolves wounds. That's the action of Neptune. So you might want to receive it if there's any inner healing you need to take place in your own physical body. You might want to imagine this Neptunian energy flowing through, just dissolving wherever there's a wound or whatever needs to be repaired. But you can also do this emotionally with old emotional wounds you might be holding. So this is something you might want to visualize, is let it flow through you and let it dissolve whatever needs to be released. And it leaves light behind, by the way. But the other reason that December is so powerful is the day after the new moon, Mercury enters a retrograde phase. So December 13th, Mercury begins a retrograde at 8 Capricorn. What is significant about this is that Mercury is going to back up into Sagittarius. It will re-enter that sign on the 23rd. So here we have this Sagittarian energy activated so powerfully. And what is fascinating is that it triggers what starts at this new moon on December 12th. We get a whole lot of development looking at our opinions, looking at our ability to be flexible, looking at our ability to tap into lighthearted, humorous state of mind, even if there is challenge around us. That's what we get to develop with this Mercury retrograde, especially as it enters Sagittarius. Now, this is happening at the time when people are buying holiday gifts and doing holiday travel. So bless your holiday travel right now. Just bless it. Add light to it. Just infuse it with perfect flow and release the attachment of how you think it needs to look, and remind yourself you're stepping into the flow. Everything works out. It's going to be fun and delightful. That's the best thing to do during a Mercury retrograde. And be mindful of my favorite mantra currently, which is the universe works in my favor. You can say that to yourself if you are traveling during the holiday. The majority of you are going to have perfect travel. There is no doubt about that. And if a few of you have any delays, just remember the universe works in your favor, and see what wonderful thing opens up. On December 30th, Jupiter ends the retrograde and begins direct motion. And it is going to start speeding through the remaining degrees in Taurus because it changes sign in mid-2024. And so again, that's activating the Jupiter energy, the ruler of Pisces, the ruler of Sagittarius. And we're still going to be feeling and experiencing a lot of what the new moon triggered on December 12th. And then January 1st, Mercury ends the retrograde in Sagittarius. So again, we have a 2 or 3 weeks to develop lightheartedness and flexibility, filled and completed with compassion. So just a few mantras that I want to share with you to just continue this. And that is that simple sense of stepping into the flow. You know, stepping into the flow involves a few things. Number one, it involves your ability to release resistance to the rhythm of what's happening. When we resist the rhythm or the timing of life, when we push against it, when we tighten up against it, we step out of flow. And I know exactly what that feels like for me. And anytime I'm driving on a highway and I'm in a hurry and I get behind every slow car, I change lanes, then that car goes slow. I change lanes again, that car goes slow. I realize I'm resisting the current of time. I'm resisting the rhythm of the energy, and I relax and I step back into the flow with relaxation, and then everything moves wonderfully. So that sense, I am in the flow. I am merged with the rhythm of life. I am gracefully flowing down the river. That is a mantra to consider working on this month. And then the other thing is the mutable signs really don't seek to have control. The mutable signs, Sagittarius is a mutable sign, Pisces is a mutable sign. The mutable signs are the best at being flexible, spontaneous, adventurous, the best at loving change and quickly turning left when you need to turn left without resistance. So practice this, releasing the need to have control and opening up to stepping into the flow, which then opens the door to peace. So my final thoughts for this new moon in Sagittarius: it's time to frolic. It's time to move into light-hearted flexibility and navigate this month beautifully and allow Neptune to step in and dissolve wherever there's tightness, wherever there are wounds. Just dissolve it. Let it flow through you and wash you clean. Just like when you step into the ocean and you feel that ocean water. So frolic with lighthearted flexibility. And the mantra that, the mandala that's on screen is a dragonfly mandala I made a long time ago that felt like frolicking as I created it. Okay, so I am sending you massive amounts of love and many blessings for this holiday month. May you navigate this with peace and flow. May you laugh and be lighthearted the entire month. And I wish you a very happy holiday season, whatever it is that you celebrate. All right, bye for now.